Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you for tuning in again. If you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button. I'm almost at 1000 subscribers, and yeah, if you can like and comment on the video, that would really help me and I'd really appreciate that. So in the last video I said that I'll be focusing on building mobile apps for this YouTube channel, and I just want to say, if at any point I need a back-end service while building the apps, then I will get into a bit of web development, building those REST APIs. But yeah, the main focus here is just building mobile apps. And yeah, in this video it's an introduction to Android's Jetpack Compose. Jetpack Compose is a new way of building user interfaces. So in the old days, when you were building Android apps, the user interfaces were written in an XML file. Now with Jetpack Compose, you can write your UI in Kotlin. So I'll show you how this small piece of code made this app here. So this is the app that we're gonna be creating. It's a simple app. In the upcoming videos, I'm gonna dive deep into I'm gonna make a proper tutorial, but for now I just wanted to get you guys warmed up and excited about Jetpack Compose. Right, cool. So let's build the app. Alright, cool. So what you want to do is you want to download the latest version of Android Studio, and then when you create a project, select empty compose activity. Yeah, so select that template, and you'll get something that looks similar to this. There's a theme section that was here. I've removed that. Yeah, so you can go ahead and remove it as well. Just make sure that your code looks like this. Right, so the first thing that I wanna focus on is building the UI, the layout. Right, cool. So in Jetpack Compose, we've got these things called composables. Composables are just UI widgets, similar to how Flutter has widgets. Jetpack also created a similar thing. So for example, we've got a widget for a composable for text. You need to import it and make sure that you import it from Compose. Alright, so the text will be equal to hello world. I think I imported the wrong text. Yes, this one. I imported the wrong text. So if I go ahead and run this, by the way, I've got my phone plugged in here using Visor, because the emulator tends to make my PC a bit slow, but you can go ahead and use any emulator of your choice, it will still work. So as you can see, we've got hello world printed on the screen. Yeah, so this is it, guys. These are composables. They basically UI widgets, and we can also create our own custom composables, and that's what we're going to be doing. And we're going to be using Jetpack's composables as well inside of our custom composable. So to create a composable, I'm going to create it outside. So in the real world, you'd have a proper structure here, and you'd have a folder for your composables, but I'm going to create mine here. So to create a composable, you need to annotate a function like this, composable from compose. Yes, import that, and you just write a function, and I'm going to call this function counter, and it's convention to start with a capital letter when writing composable functions. So go ahead and create that, and then we are going to use another composable called column. So we've got columns and rows, and in Compose, this is how you basically create your user interface. You put your composables in columns and rows, and here I'm just going to use a column, and I'm going to center everything here. So I'm going to create and we need to import that. Right, so this composable takes in parameters, but we'll get to that later. And inside of this column, I want to add a text. Sorry, that's too much space. Text with the number 0, and then I'm going to use another composable called spacer. And this the reason why I'm using this composable is I want to create space between the text and the button. So it takes a modifier. A modifier modifies the composable. So for example, if I want to add padding to this spacer, to this particular composable, I can use the modifier to do that. And this is how you do it. Say modifier dot padding, and let's make it 12.dp, and you have to import dp as well. 10dp. Then I'm gonna use another composable called button, and this one comes from Jetpack as well, Compose, and it has this function, the on-click listener. We're gonna get to that later. And inside of this button, I want to display text, so I'm gonna use the text composable, and count up. Right, so gonna take this composable and paste it here inside of set content, so that we're gonna see it in the screen. Okay, let me go ahead and right, so as you can see, guys, we've got the 0 here, we've got the spacer, and we've got the count up button. Cool. So the next thing I want to do, I want to modify this column using the modifier to center everything here, to make everything centered. So to do that, we need to use the modifier. Modifier is equals to modifier. Okay, fill max size. So this will make sure that the column takes up the entire space in the screen. We need this because we want to center these elements to the center of the screen, so the column has to take up the entire screen. So that's why we are filling up the maximum size. And then because this is a column, we've got an argument called vertical arrangement. If this were a row, we would have horizontal arrangement. So let me explain this so that it makes sense. In a column, you can only center you can only arrange horizontally, right? So you can't arrange you can only align horizontally. You can't align vertically. So it's the opposite. In a row, you can only align vertically, and then you can only arrange horizontally. I hope that makes sense. But it's the opposite, guys. Just remember that. So let's go ahead and arrange the stuff here to the sensor then. So I'll say vertical arrangement. Remember, we cannot align vertically, we can only arrange because this is a column. So we'll say arrangement.sensor. So this will make sure that did it again. Okay, let me just go ahead and run the app again. So this will make sure that these elements are centered, right? You see, as you can see, they are centered vertically. They actually arranged vertically according to Jetpack Compose. Then we want to bring everything to the center. Now we can use alignment here. So say horizontal alignment is equals to alignment.center horizontally. If I go ahead and refresh that, now everything is centered. Cool. So let's go ahead and add a modifier to this text composable to make the text a bit bigger. I'm gonna bring everything to a new line, and then we can use the modifier dot what is it called, style. No, we can't. We can, no need to use the modifier. We can go ahead and use the style on its own and say, so this takes text style, which has a bunch of arguments. You can pass the color. I'm just gonna focus on increasing the size in this video. So it's pass font size, and it takes a text unit, and I'm gonna use 28.sp. So for text, you use sp instead of dp. If go ahead and save that. And another thing, we want to display 0 as a state here. We don't want to hard code this, so I'm gonna go ahead and define count, and we use by remember, because when we increase, because when we change the state, like after I click this button, 0 will be 1, and Jetpack will recompose this composable here, meaning it will re-render, and if it re-renders, everything will be reinitialized and count will be 0 again, right? So we'll never see it increase here. So by using remember, we're telling Jetpack Compose, do not forget what the previous state of this variable was, right? So just use remember, and we need to import a bunch of stuff. Okay, so we're gonna remember, Jetpack is going to remember anything that is in this block, and we want to put a mutable state. Remember, it's a state of, and then the initial value is going to be 0. So we just basically created a state here, and we initialized it to 0, and this state belongs to this composable counter. We need to import it. Then we need to import, remember we need to get the value and set the value, so we need to import those as well. And import again, and then the text should now be count, like this. So it's 0 at first, and when I press the button now under the on click, I just do count plus plus, save that, rerun, and let's see if it works. Now if I press here, you see the counter is working, and whenever this composable gets recomposed, re-rendered, we don't lose the state. That's because we used remember, right? If I, let me see, I'm not sure if this will work. Just gonna take it out of remember. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and try this and see if it will work or not. Unresolved. All right, I don't know what that is, but yeah, I wanted to show you guys what would happen if we didn't use by remember. But I'm telling you, if you don't use this, when the composable gets recomposed, the state will be reinitialized to 0, so you'll never see this count up, right? So yeah, that's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please hit like, and if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, guys. I'm almost at 1,000 subscribers, and in the next videos we're gonna dive deep into these columns, rows, how to layer your UIs, and then maybe we'll look at creating a Twitter or Facebook or Instagram UI using Jetpack Compose. And yeah, if you're excited, stay tuned, hit subscribe, like, and comment. Thank you for watching.